Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Allbaugh, along with Mr. Aaron Zommers. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock on this Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Welcome into the world headquarters of Civic Media in downtown Madison, where cloudy skies right now, Mr. Zommers. Some rain just passed through here, but hopefully it clears out this pollen. I got home yesterday. I thought I had no business doing a show yesterday because I felt terrible, and it was in my voice. I think I said it was June 1st yesterday. It was June.
Did you? I don't remember.
It was June 2nd. Today is June 3rd, as it turns out. How are you feeling?
Feeling all right. I was outside earlier, and it's like, oh, tut tut, it looks like rain, as the great and wise Pooh Bear once said.
Yes.
And I feel like my allergies always pipe up after it rains because
Really?
it washes
After
all
it
the
rains?
pollen down. And then just for that day or that afternoon, it's worse and then goes back to normal. I don't know. I don't really understand it, but it seems to work that way.
Line of thunderstorms moving through the state of Wisconsin. We had some showers and thunderstorms. It got to severe levels down in Rock County, just below Madison, a little bit earlier. Right now, there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for our listeners on WAUK in Waukesha County. Also for people in Milwaukee, heads up as these storms are moving directly towards downtown Milwaukee. At about 3 minutes ago or so, a severe thunderstorm was located along a line extending from near Oconomowoc to near Wind Lake, moving at 55 miles per hour. Associated with these storms are wind gusts as high as 60 miles per hour. Expect damage to roof siding and trees. Places and towns and cities and villages in the line of these storms include Waukesha, New Berlin, Brookfield, Menominee Falls, Pewaukee, Sussex, Heartland, Mukwonago, Oconomowoc, amongst others. So be aware of that. A severe thunderstorm warning in effect for another 5 or 10 minutes or so for Waukesha County. Would not surprise me if that is extended into Milwaukee sometime soon. So right now, basically all this, the strongest line of storms is from the state line between Wisconsin and Iowa, just to the west of Kenosha, and then it goes all the way up to the Fond du Lac, Oshkosh area, and all those storms are moving to the east. Also, we have a special weather statement up in Shawano County as well. So maybe perhaps some of our GBW listeners there on the outside edge of it. Not a severe weather statement, a special weather service, they call it, in central Oconto County and western Shawano County. So not quite at severe levels. But as we pull out on the radar here, we can see that there is a variety of storms all across the state of Wisconsin, from central Wisconsin, basically along Highway 29, and then going all the way down to the state line. And all of those storms are pretty much east now of Madison. That sets up for perhaps more storms later on late this afternoon and into tonight. The thinking goes that if the sun is able to come out in between these storms, that could fuel possibly stronger storms this afternoon. But we shall see. If anything, I hope it takes out the dang pollen. Big show for us today. Coming up in hour number 2, the sports director of Civic Media, Jimmy Kuska, will join us. We've been following this for a while. Jimmy Kuska, of course, is a high school coach and on the school board in Boscobel, Wisconsin, southwest Wisconsin. Jimmy's going to be in talking about the new NIL deal, name, image, and likeness, for Wisconsin high school athletes. And you say, well, Todd, I don't have a kid in high school. It doesn't affect me. Well, maybe, maybe not. Many of the businesses that you enjoy may be deciding to endorse a local high school athlete. And I really think it has at least the opportunity to change in some way the way that we viewed high school sports across this state. But Jimmy will be in because he'll walk us through kind of the particulars. I think the big takeaway for me, we'll double check this with Jimmy. very, very few kids, student athletes, in my opinion, are going to walk away with great, big, huge deals. Maybe a handful in the top sports, boys and girls, who are really, really good. But I'm not sure we're going to see, 2 or 3 guys or gals on a high school basketball team making $500,000 a year. Probably
At least
not.
for now.
At least for now. So we'll talk to Jimmy about that. Also, the high school sports season is winding down. So Jimmy will be here in hour number 2, as well as a what's worse for the day. It's spring, Zommers, almost winter, almost summer. For those listening at home, I am not on any prescribed medications right now. It's all over the counter. It's Sudafed, Claritin, fluticasone, ibuprofen. I'm still just nutty. Sorry. What's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car? That's coming up in hour number 2 as well.
Yikes.
We'll talk about that. We're going to get into a top Wisconsin news story of the day. First, a quick special announcement. That's over the top. An acknowledgement, put it that way. So I've heard now from more people overnight who are regular listeners of this program on the podcast version. And we record this and you can listen to it online. And I want folks to know we are aware of a situation here. It's frustrating to me. It's frustrating to Zommers. It's beyond our control. So apparently now, I don't want to get too much into the weeds, but Spotify and all these places that host our podcast, they've enabled, get this, AI now, who is going through, and what they're doing to these podcasts are finding licensed music. So our theme song from George Michael, Freedom, is a quote-unquote technically licensed song. If we play Taylor Swift like we did yesterday, that is a licensed song. In a couple of minutes, we're going to play Kenny Chesney, Summertime, our little theme for our Text to Win contest, licensed music. So these places that host our podcast, they flag that until we say, no, we're not stealing anything, or it's a legitimate use, and then we basically unflag it. Well, that's a lot of rigmarole. So for right now, what's happening to avoid this and not having our podcast play at all is that we are taking the music out for the podcast listeners. So if you're listening on the podcast later on, it's going to sound very, very weird. And many of our listeners have told me that, like, when we play a song, you hear this from Todd. It's like people, I didn't know this until people told me. So I apologize for that. Zommers has nothing to do with it. It's beyond his control. He's doing a great job as always. And I'm told now it's being worked on.
Yes, a solution. We're working on a solution.
So a solution is being worked on by people far, far smarter than me. But I wanted to let you know we're aware of it. Thank you for those who have reached out and said, do you know what's going on here? And I thought it was fair because as it turns out, we have at least a notable amount of people that listen to this show on podcast. And I wanted to let you know that we're aware of it and we're working on it. And here, Zommers, correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't want to hear Todd's heavy breathing while we play music, and who would, quite frankly, people can go to YouTube, right, and Facebook and Twitter and watch the video version, and everything's there. Is that accurate?
Correct. Yes.
All right.
That is exactly as it is live.
So my suggestion, until we get this podcast mess fixed, just go to the Civic Media YouTube channel, or you can go to the Todd Allbaugh Show. It's at Allbaugh Show on Twitter, X, and the Todd Allbaugh Show on Facebook. And Zommers posts the entire show there. Unfortunately, you got to see my mug, but the video's there. But you can listen to the audio part in its entirety, music and all. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Hey, fantastic. I got something right. 15 past the hour of 2 o'clock. Time once again for our summertime sizzling text to win contest. Here we go.
And it's 2 bare feet on the dashboard. Young love and an old Ford. Cheap shades and a tattoo and a yoo-hoo. Bottle on the floorboard. Perfect song on the radio. Sing along, cause it's one we know. It's a smile, it's a kiss, it's a sip of wine. It's summertime.
Kenny Chesney doesn't feel like summer right now. Well, I guess summer rain a little bit. It is the correct title is the Scotty Summer Text to Win. Wasn't there a sizzle in it last year?
At some point.
Yeah, there was a sizzle last year. There's no sizzle in the title.
Not in the summer one. I think one of the contests did have sizzle in there somewhere.
I think it was. But let me tell you, your opportunities to win fabulous prizes is indeed sizzling. So here's how it works. You download the Civic Media app, and if you don't have it, go to your favorite app store, type in Civic Media. It takes less than a minute. It's free. Download the app, then open it up. The first 11 stations are ours. Click on one of those, the one closest to you, where anyone will do. Then in the lower right-hand corner, it says text. You click on the text, and then I'm going to give you a word. You text in. At the end of this hour, someone today is going to win a fresh, crisp, clean $100 Benjamin Franklin United States currency bill. $100 on the line just for this hour. And then everybody's going to get entered in for one of two fabulous grand prizes at the end of this 2-week contest. Somebody is going to go home with a beautiful Wisconsin vacation to the Baraboo Dells area, or a Door County getaway. And guess what? We're giving you a gas card to fill up your tank and get there and back. So these are great prizes. And some shows are going to give away Brewers tickets to our club level seats. We said this yesterday. I'm not looking for a fight, you understand? I'm a pretty peaceful guy. I'm a lover, not a fighter. It's Pride Month. Anyway, we've been pitted now against national radio host. He has the number 9 ranked radio show in America, Tom Hartman, who comes on before us. And apparently now there's a contest between Hartman and I on who gets the most texts. Lots is on the line here. So we're trying to take down Tom Hartman. As if that were possible. So help yourself out. Win $100. Be eligible for one of our 2 beautiful grand prize Wisconsin vacation getaway and participate. Here we go. Open up the Civic Media app, click text, and text the following word. Today's word is lake. L-A-K-E. Lake. The word is lake. L-A-K-E. You can tune into John and Gordy every morning and hear the fabulous and talented Catherine Lake.
I don't know if that's the intended use, but it is accurate.
It is. Or you could go to your favorite summertime lake to cool off.
Well, there's nothing quite like drinking a couple 2-3 beers on the boat while you're fishing out on the lake.
Exactly. Text the word lake, L-A-K-E, right now to the Civic Media app. You only have 1 hour. This contest ends at 3 o'clock and double zeros. Straight up. And this is the beautiful part of this contest. You're only in competition with people listening to this show. So your chances of winning are quite good, as it turns out. We give you a chance to win in the morning on one of our morning shows, and then with Hartman, with us, and Maggie Dawn. So tune in every hour throughout the day. Right now, text the word lake, L-A-K-E. $100 is on the line right now. And in this economy, who couldn't use $100? Come on back, an update on a story from Milwaukee. A guy was set up by a Trumpster. Back after this on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
There was a time when barbecue was perfect. A strong, reliable flavor that could be counted on. But then big manufacturers decided that barbecue needed to be zesty or spicy or sweeter or whatever. If you miss the good old days of great tasting barbecue, we'd like to introduce you to Grandpa's Barbecue. Made in small batches from Grandpa's original recipe. Buy yours online today at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with iSurvey, you can
slow it down and get it going
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Teachers are dynamic leaders shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org,
Thank you.
supported by the U.S. Department of Education.
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along with us. 22 now past the hour of 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, June 3rd. Zombers on the board. Want to take a look at this story, and we talked a little bit about this before when it was first breaking. I think, what was it, Zombers last week, according to ABC WISN Channel 12 out of Milwaukee, regarding a Milwaukee inmate now admitting that he wrote to Donald Trump in a threatening letter to frame an immigrant. And I think this story is important. Number one, because it's just a tragedy to the poor guy who is set up. But B, it shows, in my opinion at least, how the Trump administration is largely disregarding facts. And whatever they think is going to market good for their cause, they're going to go with. And remember J.D. Vance, when he was still U.S. Senator running for vice president, on the record, he said, look, we'll make stuff up if we have to win. That was all about the lie about eating the cats and dogs. Turned out not to be true. And when he was caught, well, you know, we'll make up stuff to win. That is proving true. Here now, according to WISN in Milwaukee, it says, when the United States Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem publicly praised the arrest of Ramon Morales Reyes as the suspect initially believed to be responsible for writing a letter threatening to shoot President Donald J. Trump. It added fuel to the already fiery debate over immigration in America and southeast Wisconsin. However, Noem's definitive identification of Morales Reyes, age 54, as the person who wrote the letter was inaccurate, according to newly filed records. Milwaukee County prosecutors yesterday identified another man, Demetric Scott, as the writer, in what turned out to be an elaborate plot to get Morales Reyes, potential spam on my phone. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn the phone down today. Back to the story.
SMH my head.
I know. It turned out to be an elaborate plot, this did, to get Morales Reyes deported and eliminate the chance of him testifying against Scott in a violent armed robbery case. Morales Reyes, according to Milwaukee County Court records, identified Scott, 52, as the man who kicked him off his bicycle in September of 2023 and cut him with something sharp before riding off with the bike. Scott is scheduled to stand trial in the armed robbery case next month. So this schmuck, Demetric Scott, is accused of, this guy's just riding along, Mr. Morales Reyes, riding along on his bike. This other guy just attacks him, gets him off the bike, cuts him with something, and steals the guy's bike. Back to the story from WISN. According to criminal complaint filed in the Milwaukee County Circuit Court, Scott used the rhetoric surrounding immigration to bolster his desire to keep Morales Reyes from testifying against him. Going to step back from the article. It's an important line in this story. Read it again. Scott used the rhetoric surrounding immigration to bolster his desire to keep Morales Reyes from testifying against him. The rhetoric. We've talked about this a lot. It was one of my biggest concerns, quite frankly, fears, when Trump was running in 2016. When he made fun of the reporter, I believe, who had cerebral palsy, physically and verbally mocked him. When he was saying terrible, horrific things about immigrants. When he called the white nationalist protesters in Charleston who had torches, saying that some of those folks were good people. And I said, it's not so much necessarily, at the time I said this in 2016, I said it's not so much Trump himself that frightens me, concerns me. It's that I've worked with young people enough over my years in various positions that they're impressionable. And I said, I really believe this is going to be a case, whether we like it or not just young people, but many of us look to the President of the United States and we take a cue from that. Maybe we don't think so. Maybe it's subconscious. But we kind of take a cue from that. And I said, I'm afraid this is going to kind of unleash a lot of suppressed racism, hatred against people. And we've seen it right here in Wisconsin, right? Eastern Wisconsin. Latest case was in Waterford, Wisconsin, between Madison and Milwaukee, where high school youth teams that are predominantly white are making racial slurs and writing things in the locker room of teams that are predominantly non-white. The rhetoric surrounding immigration led this guy to bolster his desires to keep Morales Reyes from testifying against him. Back to the story, the complaint said Scott penned multiple letters, containing threats to kill Mr. Trump and Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents and addressed them to Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman. Quote, "We are tired of this president messing with us Mexicans. We have done more for this country than you whites. You have been deporting my family, and now I think it's time." I'm not going to read the rest. Basically, a threat on Trump's life. Then it says, "I'll deport myself back to Mexico, but not before I use my 30-yard 6 to shoot your precious president in his head." And it goes on from there. We'll come back. I want to walk through this a little bit more. And why is it that Kristi Noem still has this up on her social media that this guy is guilty after the other guy confessed? Back with more. Stay tuned for agricultural update, news, weather, and sports. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show for a Tuesday on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Madison's Real News and Great Conversation, 92.7 WMDX.
Gotta make sure to get the contest word again when we come back.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
Turn it up. That is the theme driving thousands of Wisconsin State FFA members as they get ready for the state convention next week. I'm Pam Yonke with a quick update on what's happening in food and farming news on a Tuesday. And that energy is contagious. Jesse Thompson, president of the Wisconsin State FFA Association, says by seeing the success other FFA members are having, it bolsters FFA activities overall.
I was always taught success breeds success. And I think that FFA is an organization that's highlighting other FFA members for, their accomplishments and really giving students a place to flourish. And when students see that, they want to get involved. And I think that it's just proves that students are really excited about what's going on in our organization, and there are many things that contribute to that. But I always like to reflect back on that success breeds success.
Jesse Thompson, he is the current president of the Wisconsin State FFA Association. The convention returns to the Alliant Energy Center next week, June 9th through the 12th, kicking off activities with their Day of Service. 12 different service sites around the Dane County area where FFA members will pitch in and help their neighbors.
Pancakes, potatoes, sausage, eggs. Oh my. Come hungry to the Marquette County June Dairy Breakfast on Sunday, June 8th at Slowy Farms on Evergreen Avenue in Westfield. In addition to breakfast, enjoy live music, farm tours, a petting zoo, and kid games. You can also try your luck at bingo. Breakfast and activities start at 7 a.m. at Slowy Farms on Evergreen Avenue in Westfield on June 8th. For full event details, see our event on Facebook.
Wisconsin soybean growers have a lot of choices when it comes to selecting seed varieties. If you're a seed dealer, help make their choice a little easier by shining the spotlight on your products through the Wisconsin Soybean Yield Contest. By entering customers in the contest by the August 31st deadline, seed dealers will receive $100 for one grower, $200 for three, and $300 for five or more. Growers must complete an entry and harvest form to qualify. For more information, visit wisoybean.org.
And weather around Wisconsin's helped our crops flourish. According to the update from the Wisconsin Ag Statistical Service, as of Sunday, 93% of Wisconsin's corn crop was planted and 70% was rated good to excellent. 90% of our soybeans are in the ground. 80% of that crop rated good to excellent. Also, 85% of our oats rated good to excellent. Pasture conditions a little
Anybody
iffy,
watching the
depending on
stream
where
that
you
has
are.
a
72%
home
of our
remedy
pastures rated
for
good to
allergies,
excellent as of Sunday.
let us know.
And our potato producers
We're taking
just keep
home
rolling.
allergy
92% of
remedies.
our spuds
Legitimate
already
ones.
planted. That
Not
was
like,
as
hey,
of
Todd,
Sunday.
go out and find a
You need
frog
more
and put it
food
in
news? Well,
bourbon
you
and
can get it
after the
anytime
frog
you
dies,
want it.
drink it.
Pop on over to Midwest.
Well, all right, I guess I have nothing.
You can sign up for our daily e-newsletter there as well.
Oh,
I
we
am
got to
Farm
say happy
Director
birthday to
Pam Yankee.
Tony, by the way.
This is your
Oh,
local
yeah,
Civic
Tony,
Media radio
social
station.
media guru
Want to hear even
at
more?
Civic Media.
Anytime?
Happy
Find
birthday.
all of it at civicmedia.us.
Cloudy today with scattered showers and thunderstorms likely. In fact, we could get some heavy rain, a half inch to an inch or more possible later today through tonight. Our high today in the upper 70s to near 80. We'll drop to the mid to upper 50s tonight. Tomorrow, a few lingering showers with a high in the low 70s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently it's 71.
The John and Gordy Show.
We have quite a selection of hearing aids. They've got Bluetooth, of course, and AI. We're Android robots.
You've been assimilated into the Borg.
We are into the Borg. Be kind of cool.
The Borg hearing aid.
If they haven't, we should latch onto that. They have the John and Gordy Borg hearing aid devices at a special discount.
Weekday mornings 6 till 8 on 92.7 WMDX and the Civic Media app.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
In the military, we make a lot of sacrifices, and with the VA loan, it makes it easier for us to get a home.
We were able to purchase this home and then use the
30
money
seconds.
that we were
Gracias.
going to use as a
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along. 35 past the hour of 2 o'clock on Tuesday, June 3rd. Updated weather across Wisconsin. Yes, I know it's raining and raining pretty hard in some places. That severe thunderstorm warning for Waukesha County has now expired as it's moving quickly. There is a special marine warning from just north of Milwaukee all the way down to the Illinois line and into Chicago. good heavens, don't be on the water in a storm like this, but just be aware of that. Actually, beach warnings all up and down Wisconsin's eastern coast. So stay off the beaches if you're in the eastern part of Wisconsin. And now, just across the weather wires, a flood advisory is in effect until 5:30 this afternoon for portions of central and north central Wisconsin, including the counties of western Marathon County and also southeastern Lincoln County. And if you don't know where those counties are, it's basically for our main listeners at WXCO in Wausau. So this area would be just to the west of Wausau, say just north of Wausau from Merrill down to west and southwest of Wausau, just north of Marshfield. So that entire part of this state of Wisconsin under a flood advisory right now. As some very heavy rains are moving through parts of Wisconsin. I believe Pam up at WFHR in Wisconsin Rapids has reported that, quote, the heavens have opened up, unquote. So can confirm some very heavy rains moving through parts of central Wisconsin. We expect the rain to continue throughout Wisconsin today, and then perhaps some more chances of severe weather happening later on late this afternoon and into early evening. Check your local weather source or keep it here. We will keep you informed. All right, back to this. Oh, by the way, we're smack dab in our special Scotty Summer Text to Win contest. Up for grabs this hour is a fresh $100 bill. All you have to do is download the Civic Media app, open it up, go to one of the first 11 stations on the app, click on it. You'll see a text button or icon. Click on that, and then text the word LAKE, L-A-K, LAKE, right now.
L-A-K-E.
Oh, did I say L-A-K?
Yes.
I'm telling you, these sinus meds have me loopy. I'm sorry. Yes, L-A-K-E. I was not intentionally trying to throw anybody off. L-A-K-E. Text
Also,
the word LAKE.
Guess what?
What?
It's statewide contest.
Oh, yes, thank you. It's also a statewide contest, as is the rain statewide today. So help yourself out. L-A-K-E. Text the word LAKE right now to the Civic Media app. Somebody at the end of this hour will win $100, and everybody will be eligible for one of our wonderful, fabulous Wisconsin vacation getaways, either in the Dells Baraboo area or the Door County getaway area, along with a gas card. So be aware of that. Talking about this story before the break, happening out of Milwaukee. Great story today by WISN Channel 12, Derek Rose writing this about this guy in Milwaukee who allegedly assaulted someone of Hispanic heritage and pushed him off a bike, cut him, allegedly, stole his bike, and then to get out of the charges, he allegedly wrote a letter, which apparently he has now confessed to, in which he made it look like the guy he assaulted had threatened the life of the President of the United States. And this guy, Morales Reyes, who is accused and turns out to be innocent, is being set up, was set up. Back to this story, because I think it's really important of how we frame this, that he admitted, the guy who confessed, that it was all the rhetoric, all the words around immigration and immigrants that gave him this idea. Back to the story from WISN. The letter was written in blue ink and was received on May 21st, according to the complaint, and were in envelopes with Morales Reyes listed as the sender, along with a return address, also written in blue ink. All right, first of all, if you're going to do this, nobody's going to put the return address on this. So that's suspicious, number one. Back to the story. Immigration agents arrested Morales Reyes on May 22nd because his name appeared in the return address, the complaint said. But investigators quickly became suspicious of whether Morales Reyes actually wrote the letters. Using translation assistance, a detective spoke to Morales Reyes and learned he does not read, write, or fluently speak English. The Milwaukee assistant district attorney said, quote, he stated that the only person who would want to get him in trouble was the person who had robbed him, unquote. The complaint said investigators executed a search warrant on Scott's jail cell on May 30th. The complaint said investigators found, guess what? A blue pen, a paper with a note saying Scott needed the Attorney General's office address, as well as an envelope under the bed which had the address and phone number to the Milwaukee Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office. The same day as the search of his cell, the complaint said Scott admitted to a detective that he wrote the letters. Scott admitted his intention, quote, was not to go after President Trump, rather to prevent Morales-Reyes from testifying at his trial. The defendant stated that he believed the letters were the simplest way to get this, I'll clean it up for radio, a-hole off his back, the complaint said. The document went on to say Scott knew by including the threat against Trump that, quote, Secret Service would have to get involved and law enforcement would directly go to the guy's house, unquote. The complaint said Scott admitted to having his mother and another acquaintance mail the letters for him. They said they are unaware of what was inside. Scott is charged with witness intimidation and identity theft. He's scheduled to make an initial appearance today. While Scott is now identified through charging documents as the author, the same record suggests investigators suspect his involvement the same day U.S. Security and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem identified Morales. And here's where it gets, in my opinion, just sick. And then what ISN is reporting is really key. That the same record suggests investigators suspected his involvement the same day that Kristi Noem misidentified Morales-Reyes. She put up a tweet on her Twitter X account, her official one, by the way, as Secretary Kristi Noem. I got it right in front of me. With the man's picture, with the letter he did not write, and it says, quote, thanks to our ICE officers, this illegal alien who threatened to assassinate President Trump is behind bars. This threat comes not even a year after President Trump was shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, and less than 2 weeks after former FBI Director Comey called for it. It goes on. Of course, we know that's really not provable. Comey really didn't call for Trump to be killed. That was a complete exaggeration, fabrication. Neither Noem nor Homeland Security or their public affairs office responded to WISN Channel 12's request for a comment. But ABC News received the below statement, it says, from a senior DHS official. Here's what they said to ABC News nationally. Quote, the investigation into the threat is ongoing. Over the course of the investigation, this individual was determined to be in the country illegally and that he had past tense a criminal record. He will remain in custody, unquote. And here's the kicker. Noem has not deleted nor clarified the information from her May 28th post. Nobody is, well, I shouldn't say nobody. I'm not sitting here to say, look, if someone is undocumented, they should just be automatically let go. But again, it's the cruelty here, guys. It's the fact, and not just the cruelty, it's the fact that one of the most powerful people in the United States of America, a cabinet secretary in Kristi Noem, put out a post that is absolutely 100% false on the same day that authorities identified that this guy didn't do it. Kristi Noem and the Trump administration jumped at the chance to put out knowingly false information to gin up the rhetoric further against people, particularly immigrants, not just people of color, but in particular immigrants. Gin that up. And as we read earlier in the story, the guy who did this, allegedly, who set this guy up, admitted that it was the rhetoric out there pumped up by the Trump administration that gave him the idea to do this in the first place. Words matter. What our administration does matters because people are watching and they're getting ideas. And I'll tell you this whole thing where it really gets disturbing is Trump's love affair, bromance, with Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele. Because he wants to be like him. We've talked about this show before. While Bukele in El Salvador has put a lot of gang members in jail, and certainly crime is down and life is better for the average Salvadoran, you can't deny that. But how he did it. He set up a text line in El Salvador. So if you even suspected someone of being in a gang, you just text it and said, so-and-so, my next door neighbor, is in a gang. And their version of ICE came, no defense, no habeas corpus, boom. You're in CCOT, the big prison down there. And it's estimated there are thousands of people who are innocent that are in prison. Because what people did is like, hey, that guy slept with my wife a couple months ago. I think he's in a gang. Boom. And now we're seeing this in the United States of America and in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, where somebody just makes stuff up and says, this guy made a threat to the president, or writes a false letter saying, setting him up. And he just gets arrested. And he's still in jail. Maybe because he's undocumented. We're not 100% sure of that. But the sitting secretary of the United States Department of Homeland Security has still not put out the truth. She's still peddling lies in order to gin up the public and the hatred against people who are not white, who don't look like us, who weren't born here. It's dangerous. And it's sick. And again, it's a painful reminder when we see all this happening in national big cities, New York, LA, Miami. Oh, that's not happening here. It happened in Milwaukee. And if you don't think it could happen in other places, and if you don't think it could happen to you, you're sadly mistaken. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Come on back. We'll take your calls. It's the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It's a fish fry on a Friday night. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is Chad Spade for Chad's Design Build. We're proud to employ some of the best carpenters and remodeling professionals in our industry. Are you honest and hardworking? Do you love to improve people's lives by improving their homes? Chad's Design Build offers excellent compensation and benefits focused on outstanding customer service, professional design, construction management, and craftsmanship, all in a nurturing, positive workplace. Whether you're thinking about remodeling your home or considering joining our team, go to chadsdesignbuild.com to learn more.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. In discussions over the so-called Big Beautiful Bill backed by Donald Trump that's making its way through Congress, none other than Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson has emerged as the most prominent Republican critic of the bill, saying at a recent Milwaukee Press Club event that it is, quote, not even close to adequate. Johnson has said he wants spending cuts to go even further, including making cuts to Medicaid. But Johnson's position as a critic of this bill makes him especially influential in these negotiations. But let's not forget the last time he was in a similar position. In 2017, he was a critic of the Trump tax cut bill, but what he fought for was a tax break for certain types of businesses. Perhaps not coincidentally, businesses owned by his largest donors, Dick and Liz Uline. In 2018 alone, the Ulines received more than $200 million in tax breaks because of this bill. So as the Big Beautiful Bill is negotiated in the Senate, let's not forget this piece of recent history.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government by and for the people. President Donald Trump recently announced pardons to a range of individuals, including convicted drug dealers, fraudsters, and convicted public officials. ABC News reports 1 in 5 have political or financial ties to the president. Scott Jenkins, a former Culpeper County, Virginia sheriff, had been sentenced to 10 years for taking $75,000 in bribes in exchange for issuing deputy sheriff's badges. Jenkins had been a longtime Trump supporter. Ardent Trump acolyte Michelle Fiore had not yet been sentenced when she received her pardon on April 23rd. A former member of the Nevada Assembly, she was convicted of 6 counts of wire
Now my
fraud for
question,
skimming money
why is
from
the
a
flute
memorial
only in
for
the
a
left ear
slain
and the
Las
voice
Vegas
only in the
police
right?
officer. She used the money for rent, plastic surgery, and her daughter's wedding. Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich was pardoned in February.
It's a voice
after
memo.
endorsing
Let's
Trump's
not worry about it.
2020 and 2024 campaigns. Blagojevich appeared on Trump's Celebrity Apprentice in 2010.
Do you want to hear
but
it?
was convicted in 2011 of attempting to sell President Barack Obama's vacated U.S. Senate seat, among other corruption charges.
My name is Dorian Ditson. I've worked here for about 6 years now. You know, I really do.
I'm not going to play more because it swears. I imagine it's a clip from a show or something.
Can you clean that up? Can you take out the swear words?
Not immediately, but
No,
yeah.
yeah.
Right, we have about 5
Save
seconds.
that. Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it 8 minutes before the hour of 3 o'clock on the Civic Media Radio Network. Rain across Wisconsin from Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, Green Bay to the Mississippi River, all points in between. Most of Wisconsin, in some way, shape, or form, getting some precipitation. Some of those storms have gotten severe, kind of calming down a little bit, although a flash flood alert is in effect for the middle part of the state, kind of west of Wausau. Some very heavy rains in that part of the state. May have stronger storms later on this afternoon again. Right now, we're in the middle of our Scotty Summer Text to Win contest. On the line for 7 more minutes, a $100 bill. You can be eligible to win it. All you have to do is go to the Civic Media app, download it if you don't have it. Go to the first one of the first 11 stations, click on it. You'll see an icon that says text, and then text the word lake, L-A-K-E, L-A-K-E, lake, as in go jump in a lake, Todd. Lake, L-A-K-E.
No, go jump in a lake, Eric Huffty.
Well, that too. By the way, a happy birthday today to our digital guru, Tony, up there in Ashland. Because I oftentimes forget to tell people it's a statewide contest. Zommers has to remind me. Tony says, is there a timeline for when this becomes the Aaron Zommers show with producer Todd? Just some of the legal issues with the contest standpoint. I'm curious. He's curious but well-behaved. It could happen, Tony. It could happen, although I am not technically skilled enough to be the producer of the show. I don't possess the knowledge, intelligence, and talent of Mr. Zommers.
And
So,
I don't possess the knowledge, intelligence, and talent to host the show.
I don't know about that, but that's very kind of you. There could be a monkey could host this show.
I disagree.
And oftentimes people think that's exactly what's happening. All right, back to the phone lines here. This story from WISN Channel 12 out of Milwaukee, in which an immigrant was set up by someone, made a threat to President Trump's life, and the police arrested the innocent guy. They found out now that he's innocent. But A, he's still in jail, and B, the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, has not changed her social media post showing this guy's picture, the letter he did not write, and saying he's guilty. And again, if you don't think it could happen to you, ask the people of Shawano County, just west of Green Bay, a very red county. They voted for Trump with 67% of the vote in the fall for Donald Trump in Shawano County. And this week, Shawano County got lumped in with Dane County and Madison and Milwaukee County and Milwaukee as being on the Fed's radar as being sanctuary cities for immigrants because Charlotte County passed a resolution saying they were a sanctuary city for the Second Amendment and guns. And the Trump AI caught that up, and they still haven't corrected it. So,
I don't think they will.
I mean, if you think that, well, I've never done anything wrong, and I'm here illegally, nothing's going to happen to me, you're not living in reality, my friend. All of us could be caught up in this. 855-752-4842. Let's go quickly to WCFW, the Tap, up in beautiful Chippewa Valley. Gene in Eau Claire. Gene, what say you?
Great job today, as usual. I mean,
Thank you.
why would we expect anything different? When people idolize a con man, a guy who has a criminal history, a guy who's ripped people off many, many a time, a person who pokes fun at people, what a role model for kids in America. You know, everybody wants people to follow the law. When we got one of the worst criminals, and the people that he put into those positions, incompetent, you know, the woman that kills a puppy
right?
Because she didn't train it. That's my opinion. Having trained dogs before hunting dogs. And the other people, you know, the person that drinks supposedly, you know, taking care of our military. I mean, we got a bunch of winners there, right. And it's like being in La La Land. And I really hope people wake up, because this, like you say, it is sick, and you know, it's evil. It's like, you know, hurting people for your own, gratification, or for your own purpose that you may be able to con people into doing something else. It is. I can't believe it, Todd. Yeah. It's America. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gene. I appreciate it. I mean, I get it when people get worked up. I'm worked up. But the reason I wanted to spend so much time on this today and walk you through that, and again, great reporting by WISN Channel 12 in Milwaukee, is that it shows, in my opinion, that the truth and facts largely don't matter to the Trump administration. I've been involved in politics since I was 12. Spent 30 years in it. If any other administration had stood by blatant lies like this, one of their secretaries in a cabinet, the press would have gone apoplectic, as they should. People from their own party would have gone apoplectic, as they should. And again, watching some of the morning shows, I can't watch all of them, but I haven't heard diddly squat about this case nationally. Well, I guess ABC must have done something because they got a response. The lack of coverage for fear of retaliation is stunning. And that's where it gets dangerous, right? Because people start thinking, well, this is just the norm, the way politics is. No, actually, it's not. And that's why we need to pay attention and realize when we're told other things, we should be skeptical from this administration. We didn't even get to maybe we'll get to it later. Jane McNair on air this morning, and Greg, every morning from 9 to 11. Make sure you tune in. Great program. They talked about this. The new FEMA director, Federal Emergency Management Administration, the guy didn't know that there was a hurricane season. I'm not making that up. Come on back. We got Jimmy Kuska on the other side, sports director for Civic Media, going to talk about NIL. Could your kid get rich? What? We'll tell you after this. Stay tuned.
Is 92.7 WMDX Columbus, Madison's home for real news.
Jimmy Kuska. How are you doing?
Doing all right.
Good. Is it raining in Boscoville?
It was a little bit, not too bad here. We don't really get weather here. It just gets hot.
Now, that's not true. You got a pretty bad tornado a few years ago.
So it has to set up exactly perfectly for us to get bad weather. That tornado worked its way up the river and then just slammed into town. It wasn't like if it would have hit a bluff, it would have dissolved, but it didn't. It came right in along the river. So I just saw you jump.
I didn't know he was behind me.
I'm worried.
I was a little skittish. I'm like, I didn't know he was going to be right there.
Oh my goodness.
You're not kidding me. I'm looped up on sinus meds and a variety of not a variety of other things. I've had allergies. What are you
Same.
doing?
Yeah, today's bad because of the smoke too. It's making it hard to be outside.
Yeah, it really is. Not fun at all. I'm gonna get some more water. I'll be right back.
Aaron, how is this just one segment, or is he keeping me for both segments?
I will ask. If you're available, if you were
that's fine.
available for two, then great.
Yep, that's. I just wanted to confirm. So
Excellent.
it's not like my days have any structure. I'm the sports guy.
Fair enough. I mean, aside from these 2 hours, my day also doesn't have a whole lot of structure.
The Dodge County Jail, where 54-year-old undocumented immigrant Ramon Morales Reyes is being held.
Time is without structure or form. Therefore, I am without structure or form.
Visit. In fact, I think a requirement, really, morally, to do an unannounced visit to these facilities. Dodge County Jail is the only ICE facility in Wisconsin. So we went to go there. It took about an hour to get us into the process.
Morales Reyes is detained after Homeland Security accused him of threatening former President Donald Trump in a handwritten letter, but his lawyers and lawmakers say he was framed. WISN reports Demetric Scott, another Milwaukee man, admitted Monday to writing the letter and forging Morales Reyes' name. It claimed the writer would self-deport, but not before shooting Trump at a rally. Morales Reyes, who can't read or write in English or Spanish, was applying for a visa and preparing to testify against Scott in an assault case. Prosecutors say Scott confessed to framing him to derail that trial. Morales Reyes has a bond hearing Wednesday, after which he could be released. Congresswoman Gwen Moore also visited yesterday and described the conditions at the jail.
We did ask them particularly about medical and about nutrition and the ability to get exercise. They say that they're treated like other detainees who are citizens, that they're able to earn privileges and to be able to go out.
Moore says she'll go back if Morales Reyes is still detained at the end of this week. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
The Packers back at practice. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports in Green Bay, where the Packers OTAs continue here at Lambeau Field. Anthony Belton is the Packers' second-round pick out of NC State, competing for a spot on the offensive line. I asked him if he's been more nervous or excited to be in the NFL.
It's a little bit of both, because, you're nervous because, you're in a new environment around people.
So do NIL, Jimmy, and then maybe touch on the Brewers a little. Well, before we do that, I heard you this morning one of the reports talking, or I guess it was the staff meeting, talking about the end of spring sports season coming to a close. We can touch on the Brewers and anything else you want to talk about.
Named National League Player of the Week, Yelly hit by a pitch Sunday. Still managed to hit.
I muted myself for sneezing. No, I'm happy to talk about whatever you want to talk about. All
right.
NIL was one of 4 things passed by the WIA for this year, and so it was what people are most interested in, and I'm glad to talk about it because it's not at all like college NIL. So
right.
It's good. It's a good topic to dive into and explain.
Cloudy today with scattered showers and thunderstorms likely. In fact, we could get some heavy rain, a half inch to an inch or more possible later today through tonight. Our high today in the upper 70s to near 80. We'll drop to the mid to upper 50s tonight. Tomorrow, a few lingering showers with a high in the low 70s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable, currently at 71.
Sean Cable, Mace Michaels.
For more than 80 years.
None of them are real names.
The natural landscapes that define our nation.
It's possible.
Nothing is more important than maintaining
Todd Allbaugh is actually a real name.
And wildlife to thrive.
I think my name's made up. I guess technically all names are made up.
Do you use a broadcast name, or is that your actual legit name?
My birth name is James, but
Oh, really?
But Flambeau High School, with all of its people, somehow had 4 kids named James, so we all picked different variations.
Lily Roberts, she's from the Center for American Progress Action Fund.
They're trying to pretend that this bill would be good for the working class because of this really small carve out to our tax laws. The no tax on tips piece does not at all even come close.
Not even the most famous Jim from Flambeau. That would be Jim Leonard, of course.
Oh, that's right, of course. Yeah.
About 30 seconds till we are back on the radio.
All right.
I'll be quiet.
That's good.
Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Allbaugh, along with the fantastic Mr. Aaron Zommers, our producer and engineer on the board. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Welcome into hour number 2 of the big program here on this Tuesday, the 3rd of June, 2025. It's a great day to be Wisconsinite. A little cloudy out, a little wet here in Madison, although rain has stopped temporarily. Going to have rain across the state of Wisconsin. One advisory or watch out for you to be listening about or concerned about. For our listeners at WXCO up in beautiful Wausau, and flood advisory is in effect until 5:30 this afternoon. It's basically the area from north of Wausau, the Merrill area, and then draw a line diagonally south and west over to Marshfield. And that whole area there, seeing some very heavy rains. Our stations at WFHR in Wisconsin Rapids, Pam up there, confirming they've received very strong rains in that area. So just be aware of that. No other major watches or warnings out at this time. There's a beach advisory, I guess, for the eastern coast. But why the heck are you on a beach on a day like today? We'll keep you informed. It could be some more severe weather as the afternoon and evening progresses. Coming up in this hour, what's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car? We'll take your phone calls a bit later on that, and a little bit more news as well. But right now, coming up on 8 past the hour of 3, our sports director, the one, the only, Mr. Jimmy Kuska, joins us via StreamYard from his home studio. Mr. Kuska, how the heck are you?
I'm fantastic today. I know the weather is a little wet in a lot of parts of the state. It's changing a lot of the high school sports schedules today, but otherwise I'm doing great.
Well, good. And it's great. You know, Zommers, every major media network has a great Jimmy. NBC has Jimmy Fallon. ABC has Jimmy Kimmel. There's all kinds of great Jimmys. And here at Civic Media, just to make us great, we have our own Jimmy and Jimmy Kuska.
I think we have a few Jimmys, so not to diminish any Jimmys.
Well, he's the best Jimmy, in my opinion.
I won't tell any of the other Jimmys you said that.
Do we have more Jimmys?
There's at least Jimmy K in
oh, I forgot about that.
In Max Inc. Radio.
All right.
We also have James Kelly, our Northwestern Wisconsin news reporter, our news bureau guy for Eau Claire. So we do have multiple James or Jimmys here. Yep.
Right. You're the only. You're the original. You're the Jimmy OG. All right. Enough of this nonsense. Now, for people that don't know, you are on the school board in the beautiful Boscobel School District in Southwest Wisconsin. You have coached WIAA events, and you have been really in tune, and we appreciate your reporting on this. A lot of people have been wondering about this. You've come on our show and talked about it. We always appreciate it. NIL, name, image, and likeness. We hear all kinds of things about this at the collegiate level, and now, Jimmy Kuska, it has come to Wisconsin.
It has, and for high school student athletes, I know that this NIL deal has people, I think, confused more than anything, because when you think NIL, you think of what it's happened in the college game with multi-million-dollar contracts and endorsement deals all over the place. It's not like that for high school. High school is a much more restricted version, and Wisconsin's one of the last states to actually adopt NIL policies. In most states, state associations have done this in the last 3 to 5 years. The NFHS, when college sports went to NIL, when they started allowing name, image, likeness deals, high school sports began doing it as well after that. High school sport associations did it. In a couple of states' cases, it was the state legislature stepping in and saying, no, we're going to do NIL now, and that's not the outcome you want. So Wisconsin administrators gathered last year and voted it down, claiming they didn't have enough information or time to review the material or the amendment. But this year, it pretty easily passed, about 3/4 of the vote, approving NIL for high school student athletes in Wisconsin. And again, it's a much different take on NIL than what you expect from the college level.
Well, number one, I think it's a good reminder. I think you've heard it. Heard you say this on the network, and that the WIAA, a lot of people don't know this, is not a part of state government, or it's not a state agency. It is a private club, basically. It's a private organization, right?
Yeah, the executive board, there's a small executive team, but the WIAA is the school membership. It's the schools of the WIAA. The WIAA is the schools. So all the policies, constitutional amendments, all the boards and committees and everything, that's made up of school officials around the state. So Wisconsin schools, every single year, their school boards have to vote to be in the WIAA and be part of the membership, and then therefore have voting power in the annual meeting. So that's one of those things. It's not a monolith. It's not some top-down, organization dictating that, football cleats must be 1.5 inches or else or whatever. It's not that.
Can you imagine, Jimmy, with the lack of things that get done a block away from here at the state capitol? Can you imagine if you had legislators say, well, I'm not sure if we should have 1-inch cleats or not, because it would be a disaster.
I mean, I'd be out there playing baseball with one of those big wiffle ball bats, the big red ones. That's try and ban it. Come on.
Exactly. I want to go back to what you said earlier, because this is really important. I know a lot of parents, grandparents that might have kids in school age, and they're thinking, well, geez, maybe my kid could really get a new car or a deal here. Explain to people a couple of the highlights that make Wisconsin NIL different than college. In particular, who can actually give to this, and what can the students receive?
So one thing about name, image, and likeness in Wisconsin that I think is more restrictive even than other states is who can actually contribute to an NIL deal. So in Wisconsin, the obvious exclusions are coaches, school staff, people that are within the athletic programs, booster clubs, things like that. However, in Wisconsin, the restriction also extends to even former coaches, parents of current student athletes in the school, and I think the big one is anyone who's contributed financially or in some other form of donation to either a school's booster club or directly to the school or its athletic programs. And Todd, from where we're at in small towns, that pretty much every business in town is putting $50 in a hat to buy uniforms at some point along the way. So in small towns, that pretty much rules out everybody, right?
Exactly.
So that's the big restriction part of this, is that if those people, and it's not just the people directly contributing. If it's an organization, if it's your local factory, right? 120 employees in this factory, and the administrator of what they do with sponsoring youth athletics or whatever it is, all of those employees and their families are now not able to contribute either to NIL.
So it goes to the employees as well.
Yeah, it extends to the full organization. Yes, it's really restrictive. It's a very restrictive measure in Wisconsin.
Your favorite Ford dealership, say Harrison Ford. Come on down to Harrison Ford. It's an old Letterman joke. Your favorite Ford dealership, and they've got their name, Harrison Ford, up on the scoreboard in the gymnasium or the football field. Harrison Ford can't be running an NIL deal. They're ineligible, correct?
Yeah, it would make the student athlete ineligible because they're already contributing to the school monetarily or with, some kind of product. Sometimes the school will, somebody will donate pads or something or uniforms. It's the same thing. Whatever the contribution is, and it rules out the employees as well. So and their families. So it's really restrictive in Wisconsin. And to this point, there's only been a handful of NIL deals that have actually been announced. And they haven't really involved the local car dealership saying we're gonna, here's a new car for the star lacrosse player. We haven't seen any of that yet since this became active here a few weeks ago.
I think it's really interesting. And what's your take on this, Jimmy? Your sense, either reporting or just from being involved so long for coaching? I just don't see a huge flood of particularly businesses saying, I'm going to attach my brand to a 16-year-old.
I see this really growing is the student athletes who are going to, try to put their name or whatever it is in front of some kind of clinic or camp or something, or, and even though those are at certain levels, those are actually explicitly banned too in all this, but trying to get in front and putting their name on something that's helping develop younger kids, things like that. That's where you'll probably see more of it. You're not going to see so much a student athlete, in whatever city you're in, going out and saying, I'm so-and-so, and I really like, Jamba Juice or whatever it is, right? You're just not going to see a lot of that. And there's other restrictions too. You can't represent your sport. You can't represent your school, conference, or the WIAA in messaging. So you can't just go out there and say well, I'm the star quarterback for whatever school. it's not allowed. So it's, again, there's
Could
a lot
you-
of restrictions on NIL.
Does the athlete, student athlete, or the parent, are they allowed to, like, say, let's say Jimmy Kuska is the starting quarterback for basketball high school, and sell Jimmy Kuska T-shirts, and that goes to the kid and the family?
Yep. So your name, image, and likeness is fine as long as you don't. In that case, if you're not identifying, the school or the sport or anything like that, you're allowed to do that. So that's really what this opens up, because, and I think the other part of it is for more of the Olympic sport student athletes, people who are already training either professionally for like winter sporting events like ski, or maybe it's wrestling in the Summer Olympics, or track and field. It's for them to receive some of those endorsements for training. So if, say, Nike's sponsoring a 17-year-old training for, an Olympic run or something like that, they can receive that and not lose their amateur status for competing in high school sports.
We're talking to Jimmy Kuska, the sports director for Civic Media. He joins us via StreamYard. Jimmy, a couple of minutes left before the break. Let's start talking about one of the other changes that didn't get as much play because people weren't talking about it as much. I think it's really important, is this change on bad fans in the stands.
So a few years ago, the WIAA mandated that you are removed from the current contest and the next contest if you are ejected by a game administrator or an official. You miss the next game, the next home event for that. And it was pretty rare that it was even really happening, that they were actually going through this ejecting and then holding them out for a game. But now they've upped it a little bit, just in a sense to try to correct some of the bad fan behavior. And now, if you are ejected, you still have that suspension in place, but now you're required to take the NFHS's sportsmanship course. It's a free online course, to go through, basically learn how to be nice when you're at a sporting event. And you have to print off the certificate once you complete that course and bring it so you can come back to games. I think that it's kind of in the mode of educating not only student athletes, but also educating spectators, parents, families, whoever it is, on what's proper etiquette at a sporting event.
And it's just sad to me that, and I'll clean it up for radio, but that we have to have a course now on how not to don't be a jerk.
Exactly.
and it's just ridiculous. But it's necessary. I mean, my dad was a WIAA official for like 40 years in various sports, predominantly wrestling and football. And boy, towards the end, there were just some idiotic parents who they think their kid's going to be the next NCAA celebrity or pro person, and they're yelling at him for a freshman wrestler match in some dual meet somewhere.
Yeah, I really think that anything they can do to help corral fan behavior and better treatment of everybody involved, especially game officials, I'm personally all for it. I personally think, officials are they get a tough rap, right, in a lot of sports, mostly professionally, and you see it. But when you get to this level, and a lot of these folks, I mean, they're all part-time. They're all doing this. This isn't their full-time job, right. And a lot of them are parents or otherwise involved in school-based athletics.
Brian, listening from Green Bay, says, I'm a sports official. 99% of the time it's not a problem, but that 1%, man. and that's what I think what this rule is for.
Correct. Yeah, and I think that they've also tried to stiffen penalties on abusive officials and things like that as well. I know even the legislature's taken up policies trying to make it a crime to abuse or harass officials. So, there's definitely an issue, and it's good to see that there are organizations trying to address it.
We appreciate all of our great officials across the state. Appreciate Jimmy Kuska. He'll be back after this. Stay tuned. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Tom Hartman here. You're listening to 92.7 WMD.
I think my computer lagged because I think you were talking and it wasn't. The thing was frozen. So I apologize for talking over you.
Not at all. A lot of people talk over me, Jimmy. They're like, he has nothing to say here.
Oh, man. No, I'm glad that we got to talk good about officials. I have so many good officiating friends across the state, and we actually bring in a couple in our fall camp to go through the rules with our players and our coaches so that we're prepared for the year. It's nice to have that resource here. So
yeah, it's really important.
We had we had
remodeling done well with
14 of our players.
Beyond our workplace and your home to support our community.
Anyway, for the audience, we had 14 of our 32 football members this year actually officiate youth sports. So I was pretty happy about that.
Childcare and healthcare. But what do you believe in? At Chance Design Build, we believe every person must have the opportunity to thrive. If you're thinking about remodeling your home, go to
He's wanting to change his appearance time tomorrow. He's a very busy person.
I was just saying.
No, I don't. I silenced it. I don't know why it came through. Maybe it was on my computer. Oh, my computer wasn't turned down. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm on several medications. It's the sinus meds. It's the fluticasone. I'm on steroids, for goodness sake.
Fluticasone. Okay. All right. You shouldn't do that.
What? Take fluticasone?
No, I'm saying
it caused me
shouldn't.
to get my cataract. I got cataracts from it.
That's true. It can do that.
What else can it do?
I don't know. A lot of stuff.
I'm not sure if this is good or not. A rocker stopped by over the break, and he brought me gummies, and he said, "Here, this will make you feel better." And so I'm hoping I'm okay to finish the show. Oh wait, they're just Welch's. They're just Welch's gummies.
30 seconds.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, I hope they're like just fruit snacks or something.
The lawyers went,
oh boy.
chair. Welcome back to the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 22 past the hour of 3 o'clock. Glad to have you along. Our sports director for Civic Media, Jimmy Kuska, is with us here. Jimmy, as long as Alvarez played it there, I know we don't give out betting advice here at Civic Media, so we won't get into the actual bets. But I happen to have my Wisconsin Badger hoodie on today, and Zomers played it. The over-under right now for Badger football this 4 in the desert, as Brent Musburger likes to say, is 5.5. 5.5 wins for the Badgers this year. Jimmy, what do you take?
Over. Badgers are going back to a bowl game this year. I think you're in the third year of a system where you really start to see, you see the development over the course of a number of years in a program for a coach. This is, there's too much talent to not win half your games. So I'm taking the over, at least 6 wins this year.
Wow. I took the under. Right now,
I'm an eternal optimist. I think my high school football team's going 9-0 this year. So come on.
Now let me ask you this, because I asked Brady you in this question. I was at an event here recently where Monte Ball was at. It was a great event, by the way. And I asked them, can you name one player on the Wisconsin Badger football team right now? Can you?
Can I? No, I don't. I see. The thing is, I don't report on the Badgers. Like I'm a high school reporter.
No,
so,
but I know. But the point is not to embarrass, because I can't. Monte couldn't, and Brady could, and they're alumni. And that's the point. Is that now with college NIL and the transfer portal, I mean, but we have nobody that anybody knows. I think it's going to be a rough year. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong.
The last few players I knew all went pro. So, like, there were players I covered in high school in Wisconsin, and now a lot of our recruits are coming from out of state. So it's tough because all of the guys I cover in Wisconsin, they're all going out of state to play offensive line or whatever. And the guys that we get here tend to be out of state guys coming here to Wisconsin. So it's interesting.
All right, let's go back into the current season of sports here. Lots of things going on. Is the state tournament for track and field up lacrosse this weekend?
Yes, and it's one of my favorite events. It's much like state wrestling, where you get over a couple hundred schools, right? You get all these student athletes and communities together for an event. It averages over 20,000 attendees over the 2 days. It's a uniquely awesome event. I think track and field and individual state wrestling are just the uniqueness and just having so many different communities represented. I just think it makes it a very fun event, and it's unique. Now I'm a basketball guy. I love state hoops. I love seeing And I love, I've grown to love like hockey as I've broadcasted over the years. And I certainly have my favorites with baseball, football too, going to those. But I tell you, track and wrestling, those two events are just so uniquely wonderful in Wisconsin. And UW La Crosse is a fantastic setting for all of this.
It really is. I had the honor and pleasure to go there several times. Both my godsons raced or ran for Monroe, and they both went to the state meet up in La Crosse. My younger one was a 4-time state qualifier, and so some of these people are just enormously talented, and to see talent on talent, and these races are decided in hundredths of a second sometimes.
Yeah, and Wisconsin's got a fantastic history too at track and field. So some of these guys, this isn't the last you hear from them in the sport. A lot of them are going to compete collegiately, and some of them are competing nationally. I mean, I think just watching the Olympics last year, seeing Kenny Bednarik, from Rice Lake, Wisconsin, out there getting the silver medals. I mean, that's you just see how far you can go with track and field in Wisconsin. It's so much fun.
It really is. Speaking of colleges in Wisconsin, a team that might not get enough love, the baseball team for the University of Wisconsin Whitewater, Jimmy, they are on the verge of a World Series championship.
UW, they are the team that seems like they're always in it, right? They're always, they're always here, and not just baseball in a lot of sports. But I was there, covering them when they had the three-peat where they had the football, men's basketball, and baseball national championships in 1 year. I tell you what, they know how to get it done over there at the athletic programs in Whitewater.
Well, I'm hearing we got a new guy on staff, Parker Olson, who is a recent Whitewater grad. Me being a Platteville alum, he's razzing me, and rightfully so, because Whitewater, and hats off to him. They're doing a great job down there at Whitewater.
I spent 3 years in college at Whitewater, and now I'm UW Platteville's broadcaster, so I sort of feel your pain, Todd, but I'm a Superior graduate, so I can't really say anything.
Right, exactly. A couple minutes left here, Jimmy. What do you want to do? More high school? Or do you want to talk Brewers? What do you want to do?
I think, the Brewers, I think most people are well aware of where they're at right now. I think this winning streak that they've had, this round of success, has really changed the complexion of the season for the Brewers, because before this winning streak, before they got hot, we were talking about, like, what are they going to sell? What are they going to do to build their farm system back up? But now they find themselves in the thick of the wild card race. The Reds were the team that was just below them in the standings when the series began. And they just took a sweep of the team that was the number one seed in the NL this past weekend. Christian Yelich was named Player of the Week last week after batting .500 with 3 home runs for the week. The Brewers are getting hot at a good time because it changes what you think about team building here at the end of July with the trade deadline. It changes a lot of things for the Brewers and the trajectory in which they're heading. And I think that's exciting for fans. It makes them relevant, and I think that also means that the home games down the stretch should be more fun. More people will be at them.
And how about Jackson Churio on fire? And I mean, I love Steve the Homer True. He's a great broadcaster, voice of Marquette. But Homer, he's calling for the Brewers to trade Churio. Is he not taking his Metamucil, or what's going on?
People look so far to a young player having occasional struggles, but what I look at is, look at that contract. That is a very team-friendly contract. Right? He is going nowhere.
He's going nowhere. I think Homer is just trying to get clicks. You can always click on Jimmy Kuska. You can follow him on his socials. Does a great job for us here at Civic Media as our sports director. Jimmy, we appreciate your time. Come on back soon. Always great to have you on.
I appreciate being here, and as always, if you're going to check out a high school sporting event, you got 2.5 weeks to do it. Best value in sports entertainment in the world.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Jimmy Kuska, everybody, our sports director at Civic Media. Come on back. We'll play a round of what's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car. Ay. Don't judge me. It's the Civic Media Radio Network. Thank you, Jimmy. Great job as always.
Appreciate you guys. My answer to that is car. My car is my car is a glorified mobile trash can. My garage is a holding place for dog and kid stuff, which is pretty easy to move stuff out of. My car, though, there's nooks and crannies. I'm still finding French fries from 5 years ago. Like, it's disgusting. It just sucks. Right. And I have 3 huskies, so it's all covered in fur on top of it. It's horrible. I hate detailing my car.
All right, very good. Your vote is in. We appreciate it.
Take care, man.
All right, see you later, bye.
I need to use the bathroom.
Oh, very good.
Right.
All right.
And certain commodities are reacting more strongly than others.
I think the market's actually getting to the point until something is physically there that we have to deal with, or we see something really physically affect the demand side of the equation, they're kind of moved past it. It's become a back burner issue in terms of how the market reacts. You know, we got this latest spat here with China.
The hills are alive
deal and things of that nature.
with the sound of music.
I mean, we saw that a handful of years ago back in 18 when we get a headline and boom,
Sorry.
we're either up or down 20, 30
It's the
cents on the day.
Claritin.
So right now, I think it's just purely the weather and the fact that the crop's got potential, and then right now it's going to get itself off to a very, very good start.
Once again, that's John Heinberg, Market Advisor with Total Farm Marketing. I'll have a look at your closing markets right after this.
Oh, it is grilling season, and it is time for you to meet Bavaria Sausage if you haven't already. Fabulous Farm Babe Pam Yankee reminding you they're located at the corner of Nesbitt Road, Fitzroy Road in Fitchburg. Open Monday through Friday, 9 until 7. Saturday, 9 until 1. Always open online, BavariaSausage.com. Just take a look at the variety that you can select from for the center of the plate, the center of the grill. And always keep in mind the clean labels that you're looking at. Bavaria Sausage relies on tried and true old world recipes that really require very few ingredients. They're also always changing product offerings, trying to make sure that you're finding not only the convenience you're looking for, but the quality and taste you're always looking for. Simple to find, BavariaSausage.com, or go to the store, corner of Nesbitt Road, Fitzroy Road in Fitchburg, Monday through Friday, 9 until 7, Saturday, 9 until 1. BavariaSausage.com. Get shopping.
I'm Charity Seebecker for the Midwest Farm Report with a look at your closing markets. Cash corn closed at $438.5. That was up a quarter. New crop corn closed at $438.5 as well, and that was up 2 3/4. Cash beans closed at $10.40 3/4. That was up 7 1/4 cents. And new crop beans closed at $10.21.5, and that was up 4.5 cents. And July wheat closed at $5.36, down 3 cents. On the dairy side of things, July Class 3 milk contract is trading at $19.14 a hundredweight. That is down 53 cents. And August milk is trading at $19.25, down 34 cents. 40-pound block cheese closed at $1.93 3/4. That was down.
Summer's looking at me like, what the hell did you do?
Butter closed down a penny and closed at $2.50. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Charity Seebecker.
Okay, whatever. Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
Cloudy today with scattered showers and thunderstorms likely.
That's not what it looks like on my screen.
Really?
Yeah. Later today through
wow.
tonight. Our high today
what does it look like on everybody else's
we'll
screen?
Drop to the mid to upper 50s tonight, tomorrow.
Tony, if you could send me a screenshot of what the show looks like right now, that would be very appreciated because I have no idea.
Here, let's look at
Warrior
the
Project has been
I'll look at the Todd Allbaugh show
since that first
on
day
Twitter.
in the hospital. They
Never
got me
mind.
out of the house. They got me connected
Eddie's
with other
Tony.
veterans.
It's not even
And they
on
gave
the
me face,
Allbaugh
my
show.
PTSD.
No, yeah, it's not on your Twitter because you could never figure out the premium thing.
It's gotta,
They didn't want to take your money.
That they're not
so you got to go to Civic Media.
Through our hands-on programs, supportive community, and ongoing advocacy, we help post-9/11 veterans realize what's possible. Learn more at
Oh, there it is. It looks on there. It looks the same way as
Michael Negron of the Small Business Majority.
as on.
What about now?
They're doing solid for small business with their policies, and so
I
having business
guess
owners
delayed.
out there talking about
Whatever,
how,
I'm just gonna put it
whether it's
back.
the
All right,
tariffs,
yeah.
whether it's potential cuts to healthcare, how it's going to hurt their bottom line, how it's going to hurt their consumers or their employees. I do think that will have a real impact. Every time he does something, he gets really bad feedback, and he retreats in the face of it.
Oh yeah, it just did the
About 20
thing.
seconds.
Now it did it on the thing that on there. Now see, oh darn, never mind.
I guess you're just what I needed. Just what I needed. I needed someone to feed. I guess you're just what I needed. Just what I needed.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along with us. 35 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Who just sent us that pic? That's fantastic.
That's Cam and Appleton.
Cam and Apple. Thank you, Cam and Appleton.
We were messing around with the video settings on StreamYard over the break, and I asked for a picture of what the show looked like. Cam has sent us the TV screen with the show up, and also his foot.
Today's show is brought to you by Rosanna Dana at Saturday Night Live. Our podcast doesn't play the songs. Our cameras are off. Our streaming it's always something. All right, enough of Todd's grousey here. By the way, somebody, I have throat issues because of this sinus, this cold, and somebody said here, and they brought me some gummies. So I'm not sure whether I should be taking them on the air or not, but they're very nice. They taste great, kind of a cherry flavor. Oh, it's just, look at this.
They're just fruit snacks.
They're just Welch's fruit snacks.
I also had some during the break. So that I could say I also popped some gummies.
Popped some gummies as well. Many thanks to Jimmy Kuska, who is gummyless, not having gummies. Always a great time when Jimmy stops by.
As far as we know.
I learned a lot. About high school sports and otherwise, so you appreciate that. All right, 36 past the hour. Time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that, this or that. Then, of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get
Time
with
once
that.
again for What's Worse. No prize money involved, nothing to give away, but it is your chance to have your voice heard on all 11 news talk stations. No better place to advertise than Civic Media. The reason I'm laughing is, right, we went to, you play the music, I'd kind of like, I don't know, I made a sound.
And you're just very self-aware now
clearing,
that that's...
Like clearing my
yeah.
throat when you have a cold. I hacked a loogie. I just thought, oh my God, now people listening to the podcast, that's all they're going to hear. And that's not good. Now I'm very self-conscious of these things.
Right.
If
I
you were
figured that's what it was.
If you were not with us earlier, the podcast, well, it's working, but you don't hear any music. So apparently now when we're playing music, when I would kind of get a little bit of a break if I wanted to do something. Yes, you hear all my mouth and nose sounds and everything. It's not pleasant. So just watch the live stream. You can watch it delayed on the Civic Media Twitter X account or the Civic Media StreamYard account.
YouTube.
Or, YouTube. Or the Todd Allbaugh Show Facebook page. You can see the past shows in video and audio there with music. So there you go. All right, timely indeed, says Mike Lucas, because it's spring. It's still spring until the 21st of June. And people are doing a lot of spring cleaning yet. So here now the category from our writers. What's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car? I'm laughing because the photo that they have for the cleaning of the garage, that's just, wow. That is nasty.
Yes. Basically, the picture of a car looks like the interior of a car. No weird changes.
Car, yeah.
But the garage picture looks like
it's something else.
If you've ever seen the show Hoarders,
yes,
that puts you. And imagine it's one of the houses on Hoarders where it's mostly garbage. Then that puts you in the vicinity.
855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. What's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car?
And before we started here in the break, Jimmy Kuska, Civic Media Sports Director, shared his take. He thinks cleaning the car is worse.
He thinks because he says he has fries that are 5 years old down in the nooks and crannies of his car.
Contrasting with the garage, which is boxes of stuff, easy to clean.
What's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Or you can text us on the Civic Media app. Download it today. 855-752-4842. What's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car? Zommers, do you have feelings, thoughts?
I think I am going to have to agree with Jimmy Kuska for slightly different reasons that cleaning the car is worse. I guess the garage, I feel like I can clean it and it will be clean for a while. Whereas the car, you clean it up and it seems like it's much easier for it to get nasty super fast again, whether it's interior or exterior. Like right now, where I live, there's a lot of dogwood. And so I washed my car a week ago and I drove home and it was already covered in crap again.
Pollen is just crazy.
Yep. Oh, yeah. It's also very yellow from all the pollen.
Yeah. There's the one good thing about the rain today. Hopefully it takes care of some of this pollen.
Yes.
Cam on Appleton listening up there. On the network says in the text, cleaning the car is nice, but the Daisy Duke flannel tie-up I do, since I drive a Dodge Challenger, can be a bit questionable. But my garage has a big skeleton on a treadmill, so okay. Is Cam all right up there in Appleton?
Presumably.
Is he doing okay? Allie listening on WMDX in Madison says cleaning the car is worse. Hope you get this. Last week I accidentally texted my answer to my dentist.
And Allie, we did get your text yesterday as well. It was just after we were done with the show, so we didn't get to read it. But yes, your texts are going through. And unless you were in a group chat with your dentist, just to us.
That is beautiful. The fact that she sent a mistaken text to her dentist. 855-752-4842. What's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning your car? Kathleen, listening on WISS up in Oshkosh, says what's worse, cleaning the garage because of one word, spiders. Spiders. Kathleen, not a fan of the spiders. Joshua, up in Wausau, WXCO, says both are horrible, having 2 kids. See, kids, they have a lot of stuff. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842.
That reminds me of the minivan that my family had when I was a kid. And, humans are creatures of habit. We all had our spots in the car. Like, I would sit in the rear on the passenger side, and one of my sisters would sit on the left in the back. And there were these little compartments that you could put stuff in. And mine was always clean. And hers, years later, there was a juice box partially. I mean, it was so sticky and nasty. There was just so much garbage in there.
Yuck.
So, yeah, I can see how kids can make it more difficult.
Monica in Mount Horeb on WMDX says cleaning the car is worse. And not just because I don't have a garage. It's impossible to get the vacuum in between the seats. I always end up with bruises and cuts. True, Monica. Sometimes,
you know my solution to that?
What's that?
Just don't vacuum the car.
Good Lord.
No, I do shake out the mats, though.
All right, very good. Let's go back up here. We've got Gordy down in beautiful Oregon. Says, my lovely wife cleans the garage. Well, how nice. If now I could only get her to work on my car. Gordy, I think you're pushing it, my friend. Be thankful she does one, and then you got to do the other. But Gordy's busy. He's selling plants all over, and I got a couple more I got to get for my balcony, so I got to get down there and do a little shopping. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. What's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car? I don't know. It's for me, I think ultimately cleaning the garage, because I tend to hoard more things there than the car, although the car can get bad at times. But usually, now that I'm traveling around the state a lot, I'm forced to kind of clean things out, rearrange it, or whatever. And my mom, I know, if she's listening, she'd say, clean out my garage, because if I live in an apartment now, and so I don't have a garage. And so sadly, both my sister and I, but more so me, have stored things from ancient times. There are our archives there in plastic bins. And the poor woman, it's and we did, I don't know, what was it, 10 years ago, maybe less, that we went, maybe it was during COVID, 5 years ago. And we went through the garage, we got a dumpster and we filled it. It wasn't just all, and so I need to take some time to do that. So I would say cleaning the garage is worse. So 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842 if you want to chime in with what's worse today. Again, many thanks to Jimmy Kuska for being here today. Also, tomorrow on the show, looking forward to this, is Wednesday. It's Hump Day. And so you're going to have Pat Kreitlow from Mornings with Pat Kreitlow every morning from 6 until 9. Great program. Tune it in. And then also Trygve Olsen, Senior Advisor at the Lincoln Project, is on the show tomorrow. looking forward. Talk about some national issues. Is this budget reconciliation? Is the Senate going to be able to suss this out and clean it up and pass something? Or is it a complete do-over? Elon Musk, by the way, this afternoon, I think it was this afternoon, I just saw this on the old
his new
X.
tweets.
Yeah, he's not mincing any words now, Elon Musk. He's calling out Trump and the Republicans, more so, in the House for passing it and saying you knew better. Elon Musk is saying that they knew better.
I think he's just bitter because he got dumped.
Well, that could be too. That could very well be true. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. We'd love to know what you think of, if you want to still weigh in on what's worse, either the garage or cleaning out the car. I think, are we caught up now, more or less, Summers?
I believe so.
Right.
Although Cam in Appleton says he's doing it to recover liberal sales about Elon Musk's tweets. And I think you might be onto something there.
Very interesting. All right, let's go to a couple more headlines here of the serious news. This, according to Wisconsin Politics, or WisPolitics for short. That's how it's known as, WisPolitics.com. We mentioned this earlier in the show, that Shawano County, just west of Green Bay, very red county politically, voted for Trump 67%. Now WisPolitics saying the Trump administration listed deep red Shawano County alongside Dane County, Madison, Milwaukee, as communities refusing to cooperate with federal immigration authorities. The release late yesterday included no information on why exactly the counties were listed. The attempts to reach Shawano County officials were unsuccessful. So not only has Shawano County now been apparently, quote unquote, mislabeled as a sanctuary county or city, but nobody's helping them take themselves out of this. And again, this stems from the Trump administration trying to call out to mark, so to speak, cities and counties who say, look, we are going to uphold the law in terms of safety of people, but we're not going to use our local law enforcement folks to go after and raid people based on their immigration status. That's what that means. It gets mislabeled as people saying, well, they're not going to follow the law. No, that ain't it. They're just saying, we're not going to, we just aren't going to make, because it's beyond the local scope, mind you. Enforcement for immigration status falls to the feds. So these particular communities say, no, we're not going to participate in federal law enforcement like that. Not that we're impeding it. We're just not going to participate. So now the Trump administration is coming after him. Shawano County said, we're going to be a sanctuary city for firearms, for the Second Amendment. And because they used the word sanctuaries, the Trump administration has marked them. And they're still not helping them out. Too bad for folks up there in Shawano. Back with another call on what's worse and wrap things up. It's the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Come work with us. Civic Media has a number
Played
of great
that
jobs
song
across
and
the
buy
state.
the cars instead of a song about cars. Because we all need to clean out our cars.
Yes.
Cool
Just what I
off
needed.
the summer at Frosty's, West Madison small batch ice cream shop. Enjoy rich, handcrafted flavors and soak up the sun on the outdoor patio. And if you mention you heard this on the radio, get 5% off. Frosty's, 702 South Gammon Road.
Are you ready to crack open something amazing? Whether it's a fresh pistachio or the keys to your dream home, we've got you covered. Just like pistachios, the best homes are worth the wait. And once you find the perfect one, it is so satisfying. At Aaron Weber Group, we help you find homes that are as irresistible as a handful of pistachios. So whether you're house hunting or just snacking, remember, great things come in shells and in the perfect four walls. Call Aaron Weber Group, powered by Compass, today, and let's get you into a home that's a real treat.
It's time for Civic Media's Scotty Summer Text to Win contest right here on this local Civic Media radio station. We want to hook you up with $100 cash, Milwaukee Brewers club level tickets, and the chance to win a summer getaway to the Wisconsin Dells area or an escape to Door County. Download the free Civic Media app in the Google Play or App Store. Then listen in for the keywords during the 7 and 11 a.m. hour and 2 and 4 p.m. hour. Text in the keyword and get set to win. It's Civic Media's Scotty Summer.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government.
I hate how the flute and the voice are split up between the stereo channels.
To a range of individuals,
It's very upsetting to
including
me.
Convicted drug dealers, fraudsters, and convicted public officials. ABC News reports 1 in 5 have political or financial ties to the president. Scott Jenkins, a former Culpeper County, Virginia sheriff, had been sentenced to 10 years for taking $75,000 in bribes in exchange for issuing deputy sheriff's badges. Jenkins had been a longtime Trump supporter. Ardent Trump acolyte Michelle Fiore had not yet been sentenced when she received her pardon on April 23rd. A former member of the Nevada Assembly, she was convicted of 6 counts of wire fraud for skimming money from a memorial for a slain Las Vegas police officer. She used the money for rent, plastic surgery, and her daughter's wedding. Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich was pardoned in February after endorsing
What about
Trump's
it?
2020 and 2024
He just said this
campaigns.
woman used
Blagojevich
money for
appeared
that.
on Trump's Celebrity Apprentice in 2010, but was convicted in 2011 of attempting to sell President Barack Obama's vacated U.S. Senate seat, among other corruption charges. Former Kentucky State Senator and 2016 congressional candidate Brian Kelsey served only 2 weeks of a 21-month sentence on federal campaign finance
30
violations
seconds.
before he was pardoned in March.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network, where it is now 8 before the hour of 4 o'clock. At the top of the hour, ABC and CBS News, followed by a check of your weather. Still some weather advisories in terms of breathing because of that smoke coming down from Canada, but hopefully that'll be pushed out as these storms and showers move through the state of Wisconsin. Perhaps another chance of more severe weather later on tonight, depending upon how much it warms up here during the middle part of the day. But be listening. We'll keep you updated on that. And then our great sports reporter, Mike Clemens, is in with a sports report. The Maggie Dawn Show every afternoon, following us from 4 until 6, and then wrapping it up with a cocktail, a beverage, whatever you want to do with our friend Pete Schwaba and the great Conrad producer, and Nightlight with Pete Schwaba from 6 until 8.
You know what else is happening at 4 besides the Maggie Dawn Show?
What's that?
The next hour of our Scotty Summer Text to Win
really
statewide contest.
Oh, very good. So more chances to win. All right. Our What's Worse today was what's worse, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car. Pardon me. I'm really sorry about these allergies, folks. Let's go to the phone lines. Sun Prairie we go. Listening on WMDX. Claire in Sun Prairie. Claire, cleaning the garage or cleaning the car? What's worse?
Well, hello. Cleaning the garage is worse. And I'll tell you quick, my son, Matt from Middleton, calls you a lot.
Oh, that's your son? That's fantastic.
Yeah, he's quite a guy. But anyway, I have 5 vehicles I take care of.
Wow.
And so I'm constantly, I never let them get that dirty. I'm constantly cleaning. I'm kind of fussy about that, but I'm too tired to do the garage after all of that.
Right.
But I've got a secret for everyone. I don't vacuum my cars. I open all the doors and I use an electric leaf blower and I just blow all that crap out.
Really?
And that gets
Not a bad
everything
idea.
out from under the seats, and then there's no crevices. I mean, that leaf blower just does the job.
That I never heard
And
of
I
this
can't
before.
use that on the garage, or all my stuff will blow out the door.
That's a good idea, though.
I love that, Claire. See, news we can
really
use for a Tuesday.
And it works in the house too. Just have to duct tape down all the little stuff.
Do you really use it in the house?
Oh, I use it in the house. I have a great room, and it just chases all the dust bunnies to one corner, and then I'll let the dust settle, and then I can vacuum up just one little area.
Martha Stewart, eat your heart out. I love it.
I love your sense of humor. I'll let you go.
Hey, thanks, Claire. Have a great day. Have a great day. See you right there. That made my day. That was wonderful.
That really is a good idea, though.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to
And
have
for
to
the
do
car.
for the car.
I'm not
for the
sure
car.
about the house, but
I
hey,
have
if
too many
if
objects
it
that-
works for him, then fine. That's fantastic. Little good news for you. Before we leave, this one was politics as well. Now, my youngest niece, Isabel, graduated Eau Claire Memorial High School this year. She's going to Stout, University of Stout. Here we now. Says students at UW Stout recently took part in a product design project for Arcadia-based Ashley Furniture, one of the largest furniture manufacturers in the world. Says, as a part of a new product development course at the university, the students were tasked with conducting market research before designing, testing, and building professional prototypes for toolless bed connections. I'm assuming they're doing like IKEA, only you don't have to even use like an Allen wrench or whatever. This is great. Along with getting help from the product designers with the company, the students traveled to its Arcadia facility last month and presented their prototypes to Ashley's research and development team. The project was funded by sponsorship provided by the company to Assistant Professor Keith Deitch from UW Stout's Engineering and Technology Development. His approach for the project, called the Design Build Process, involves teaching projects with quick deadlines for students, according to an overview from the university. Between mid-April and mid-May, students worked in teams to develop their ideas, which ranged from a technical model for automated machining of bed components to a 3D printed interlocking bracket system and more. One team, made up of technology education major Annika Schluter and engineering technology major Hunter, I'm going to try to pronounce this, Obet, made a scale model of an interlocking Japanese wood joint bed frame. So how about that? And this is why I think it's great and important to uplift our universities across this state, because so often all we do is hear about the bad things or low enrollment or there's no money, and not enough do we hear about the great successes. And I know in the scope of the world, maybe it isn't seen as a big deal. But here's one university, UW Stout, who has a professor who is practical, who is engaging, challenging students, and partnering with a private sector in Ashley Furniture, and just let their creativity and talent go. And they've come up with this great prototypes. And who knows, maybe these things are actually going to be put in production at some point by Ashley Furniture, and it all starts at one of our great universities, the University of Wisconsin Stout. So congratulations to all of them.
I bet that also helps with sustainability. I know we have talked about sustainability of furniture and building materials before on the show.
Yeah, no, I would think it would, but I just, and this, what we have to keep in mind is this is being replicated all over the state. When we were down at UW Milwaukee, we heard about all the great nursing programs and healthcare programs, and hopefully Joint Finance Committee approves their request for a new addition to their healthcare, their teaching for healthcare related fields, because these things are deeply needed. And we need to invest in our universities, because what we get back is tenfold. So that's how we're going to end the show today. Thank you very much to Jimmy Kuska for being on the show today. Great job as always. Zommer's, of course, wonderful as well. And all of you for listening. Stay safe out there as more storms move through Wisconsin. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful afternoon, whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in. Do not give up. Keep banging your drum. See you tomorrow.
And your day will come. Keep banging on your drum, and they will hear you.
Adios.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.